Yo, 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 GM, everybody. Welcome to Web3 Breakfast. My name is Jay Chains. Excuse me. It is 10 a.m. over on the East Coast, the Beast Coast, the meanest coast of the streets. I see we got, hey, what's up, Van Dogley? Popping in over on the Twitter spheres in the space. Hey, GM, Carmen. If you can hear me coming from the good mic, just give me a thumbs up. I think I got this thing squared away, like right off the rip. So, GM, everybody, let's get all these brandings and banners and all that schmutz ready to roll. There we go. All right. My browser has lost connection. I'll tell you what, it's storming here in Georgia today. Good morning, Carmen. Well, give me 1 second. I'm going to tweet this out really quick, and then I will be back in just a second. Let's get some music playing, and then I'm going to bring you up to speak so that you and I can chit-chat for a little bit. Get this thing tweeted out, get some folks up in here. All right. Excuse me. I don't know why my camera just shut down. Give me a second. I've never actually seen that. So because what we do is we live stream to Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. And it says your browser has lost connection to your camera. Make sure you have the right camera selected and close any. I mean, that's the camera we use every day. Let's see if we can run this through OBS really quick. Sorry for this. But GM, everybody, just give me 1 second while we get this this camera up. There we go. If StreamYard wants to fail us, we will just run it through OBS. That is not a problem at all. That's what we got. Virtual camera by OBS. Let's start that virtual. Sorry, guys. Sorry to work you through this, the logistics here. But I think we're good. Carmen, how are you?
Good morning, GM. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is my vibe this morning, listening to you like turn on all the switches, make sure that everything lights camera action. And you might remember this. Do you like the Muppets?
Oh yeah.
Because I think that while you're setting everything up, we just play the Muppet song.
I love that. That might be the move. I think we're gonna get that queued up for Friday morning for tomorrow. Because it is pizza day. We can have fun. I would consider, I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember a whole lot about the Muppets, but I can unequivocally tell you that Animal was my favorite. That would probably not come to a surprise to anybody.
I am a Gonzo. Gonzo and his harem of female chickens.
That's awesome. Oh man, we got Turbo in the house. GM Turbo coming from the West Coast today. He hopped a flight out to San Francisco to go spend some time with Fully Vox, get some things squared away before the meme NFT launch later this month. Baby, I can't wait. We getting turned up. What's up?
What up, baby? what's going on, everybody, man? This shit is so crazy, bro. Like, being on the West Coast, man, is so confusing, man. I don't know what time it is. Like, it's a lot.
Oh my God, Turbo, I'm feeling the same. Like I have been up here on the East Coast, so we have swapped places. And I'm over here rising and shining with J Chains. Look at me, I'm first in the room, up on stage. You guys don't normally hear this, and I miss you guys.
I love Carmen. We miss you.
Carmen?
What's up, Ardo? GM.
What's going on, brother? What's going on, Turbo? Hey, I got some great news. If you check out finalfrontiersa.com, Win Media logo is under partners now. And J Chains, Wagner has agreed, brother. Done deal.
Let's get it, dude. That's exciting. So, guys, that means that we're going to be chatting with CEO. Is he a co-founder or just the founder?
He's co-founder.
Okay, so CEO, co-founder of Star Atlas, Mike Wagner, dude. That's going to be great. Super excited. Let's get that on tap for maybe next week or whenever it's convenient for him, obviously. But I'm really excited about that. That's something we got to do here at Web3 Breakfast is really start connecting with more founders and leaders here in the space. And let's just make them part of our conversation. I think the more that we can include some KOLs. If you're not familiar with that stands for, that's key opinion leader. Let's get some more key opinion leaders in this space to be a part of our conversation. Because you never know, somebody might say something really, really smart, and that may change the course of a project of Web3. Who knows? We got some smart people in the room. But GM guys, appreciate you all being here. Let's take a second, retweet the room. Let's get some more folks in here. I don't know about you guys. I am hungry. I got my coffee. I got my water. Obviously, we do the intermittent fasting in my life. So I don't ever eat breakfast except for maybe on the weekend occasionally. But so I got my coffee. I got a glitchy camera today. I don't know what's happening. Whatever. There are some big storms here. I think everything in this house, technology, me, my family, we're just ready to get to Texas. It's raining here again. 74K, you're my brother. I know that you're just down the road from here, but I cannot live in a place where it fucking rains every day anymore.
Oh my God, me either. Me and my wife are actually talking about how crazy it's going to be when they start putting this roundabout next to us. And there's all this new construction going on over here. And I was like, what would be really cool is we move somewhere completely different, like Austin, Texas. And she was like, that's crazy to think about. Why would we move there? No reason at all.
No reason. There's no one that we know.
There's no one there. We don't know anybody there. And she's just like, there's a catch, isn't there? I was like, that's where we're building everything. So it would be really awesome if we were all in the same position, kind of. And she was like, I'll think about it. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, that's,
you know what that means?
That's big time.
She's going to start looking at houses over there. And she's going to be like, oh yeah, I like this.
I like this.
It's always warm. She's going to be fucking, yep. We have people, she has friends over there too. So
nice, man. Well, that's great. All right. Well, with that being said, I do have a little bit of a glitchy camera, but that's, again, no big deal. I want to get through a little bit of some house cleaning here really quick. So GM, everybody, thank you for popping up on stage. Thank you for listening. Let's see. I got a couple articles that I pulled up. One of them, actually, we'll get to the articles in a second. Let's look at the ETH chart. ETH coming in at 1628 right now. So the candle's looking green for today. That is a good sign. Popping on over to nftgo.io. We like to check the market sentiment, see what's going on here. Today, we're sitting at a 41 again. So, obviously last week we were up just over 50 at 51. This week we are at 41. So that number has cooled down just a little bit, but that is no big deal. These are just maybe opportunity times for you to get in and scoop that NFT of your dreams that you've been holding out for. The broad crypto market, last 24 hours, everything with the exception of a couple stable coins is down just a little bit. You got Bitcoin down 1.25%, down to 23,356. You got Ethereum again. We just talked about that, 1630. Let's see, what are some other highlights? Any massive opportunities? A big red day. Immutable X down almost 10%. You got Clayton down 9.08%. That's about it for there. What about in the hour? Any good opportunities here? Nah, not really. 7-day. Any dumpers? Tezos down almost 17.6%. Hedera down 17% to 6 cents. So there's probably some good opportunities there for you in the crypto world. Engine coin down to 45 cents, down almost 16.5% of the week. So guys, there are opportunities for you across the board. And this is going to go in with the first article I do want to talk about. It's not only Bitcoin, but it's everything, right? But this article, Bitcoin millionaires increased 140% as the Bitcoin price crossed 20K. Now, why this is important? On January 23rd, when Bitcoin was just under $20,000, there was 27,000 wallets with a balance worth $1 million or more. On January 14th, the next day, that number had increased to 65,000 wallets. And just so you guys know, a little nugget of information about that. For reference, at the time of Bitcoin's most recent all-time high in November 2021, wallets with over $1 million totaled 113,000. So there are opportunities all across the board. What do you think about the long-term price implications of Bitcoin with this wealth distribution and financial inequality?
And it's huge. This is a great time for everyone to work towards that financial freedom. As you said, there's lots of opportunities in the market right now. As more people start finding out about Bitcoin, the wealth is going to spread. I see us increasing that number by a lot, but I think there will be some diminishing returns on it as Bitcoin becomes more valuable. You'll probably see people moving those Bitcoins into other assets or doing things with them, like real estate, right? In 2017, the first purchase of a house with Bitcoin was done here in Texas. So I think we start seeing more of that as Bitcoin moves into the next two bull cycles.
I love that. And, obviously we've seen a couple houses, and keeping it themed with, everything here, not only Bitcoin, but we've seen some houses hit the market as NFTs. I believe there was one down in South Florida, and then maybe one in Arizona, where I think was the first one, something like that. So that's going to be something that we're going to see more and more across the board, and that will be an absolute disruption to many industries. I mean, think about, do you need a title company if your house is just issued as an NFT?
Yeah, it pulls out the middleman, and it pulls out a lot of fees. Makes it more decentralized process. It pulls the bank out of the middle, and you can just set up your attorneys or whatever you need to do. And one thing that's interesting about where we're at, as you were talking about the chart prices, this is a great opportunity for Ethereum. I think that once Bitcoin makes that move above 100,000, I think we see that 8 to 10K plus Ethereum level. If you look at the mountain base, Ethereum came right down to where it was predicted to come, as well as Bitcoin. The only reason why they dropped lower than that was black swan events, right? We saw Bitcoin kind of settle in that 19K range for quite a while. And then boom, it drops because of the black swan events, right? When you're sitting kind of at your support, that last line of defense, and something happens, it typically does break. But Bitcoin always proves itself to come right back when the time is right.
Absolutely. And that time, we know that time is next year, in line with the halvening cycle, which should be about May. There is a date, I think it's mid-May, somewhere around the 11th to the 14th, somewhere in there. So be on the lookout for that, because it should dictate, where the kind of the whole market ecosystem goes, towards the tail end of this year. So I think I do have another article that I want to talk about for the second half of the show. So this first half, we can just have a little bit of fun, say GMs, talk about some things that are going on this week. But the main focus that I want to talk about in just a little bit here, and maybe we start it whenever you guys want, but how Web3 is going to revolutionize marketing. I had looked up, I had seen another article. This one came out of Forbes this morning, talking about there's 3 ways that Web3 is going to redefine marketing. And that's massive, right? Marketing is the sum of everything. That's how the economies run. That's how, commerce works. So, we can get into that in just a little bit. So be thinking, when we get into, that part of the show, we start talking about that, be thinking about ways that Web3 is going to redefine, the marketing ecosystem. GM Turbo, what you got?
Oh man, I can't wait to talk about that, man. But I actually was, I wanted to share with you, since this is our GM time. Get set up, I'm here, Vox has all this really nice computer stuff. I mean, it's an amazing setup. I put my cup of coffee, behind the computer monitor so that I have a safe place for it. Turn the microphone, knocks over my cup of coffee, and dumps it completely into my MacBook. The entire cup of coffee into my MacBook.
Oh no,
That's, dude.
Ouch.
Yeah, but you know what? It's okay. Everything is fine. And it was just like a really good reminder because this morning I woke up and one of my really really good friends, his house burned down last night, and they lost everything. So sometimes it can be like you find yourself in like really crappy moments. I'm like, damn, I got a little corner of my screen's kind of messed up a little bit, but it still works. But you know what, man? Like I still have my life, still got all my other things, and there are people out there that have it a lot worse. So think about that today. You know what I'm saying? How blessed we are to be here. Jay Chains, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm so blessed to have great friends and to be in these great opportunities, man. I can't wait for the freaking future.
Heck yeah, dude. The future is massive for anybody that's participating and building and wants to be here, right? I've said it, a lot of people will say this thing like, you haven't capitulated yet, don't do it now, just keep building, get there.
Hey, look, in honor of that, Turbo, I mean, wow. Be grateful for something, or you might be living for nothing, because no matter how bad you may have it, somebody out there has it worse. So be grateful for your situation, even if you're facing adversity.
That's it right there. That's it. And that's what we do here. We all come together. I mean? We share friendships and energy and, different things that are going on in the market and all that stuff. And it can be really easy to kind of forget about life. But man, I know like with Jay Chains and Jeb Deasy, I'm at Fully Vox's house right now. He's still sleeping because it's like 7 a.m. here. But it's like being able to get together and to build these real life relationships, man. That's what's going to make life great in the future as we all continue to grow and build.
Yeah, and Jay Chains, related to your question, one of those ways is being able to have that control of IP, right? We talked about with Snoop and what he did with his Bored Ape, and now he has an ice cream, he has a toy brand, but at the end of the day, it's still passively promoting the Bored Ape collection. If you buy a pair of Jordans, you can't go out and create your own business out of that pair of Jordans that you bought. And a lot of times on a traditional side, you need some sort of release from that company to even use their logo without their permission, right? Or you'll get a cease and desist. Marvel is big on that, right? If they see someone with a T-shirt for sale online, you will get a cease and desist quick. But you don't see that in this environment because, well, there's that decentralized freedom. A big thing that's with Star Atlas, right? We promote Star Atlas all the time. I didn't have to go to Wagner and say, hey, can I have permission to use your logo on our site, on our shirts or whatever? As long as we're not trying to make money off of that logo, we're fine. But you don't see that on the traditional side. So Web3 brings a huge form of marketing because of that decentralized method of being able to move around the assets, or just in general for the way the system's designed to work.
Absolutely. I'm gonna post some things up in the nest. And I had gotten a message. Someone needed the YouTube link. So there, it is up in the nest in here. If you do want to watch on YouTube, you are more than welcome to. All right, I think we're good. Hey Tim, GM, how are you today? You got your hand up.
Oh yeah, good morning. I wanted to compliment what you guys were talking about because I did it again. I had something to say and just so let me recollect and draw it up and get my thoughts back.
No problem. All right, so I think we got it. Okay, there we go. So the link is now posted to the YouTube live stream in the Twitter space. So if anybody does want to watch over there on YouTube, you are more than welcome to. But this is where the action's happening. So GM.
Yeah, good morning, Tim. I hope you get the thought back. Get some coffee or Red Bull or some tea if you're a tea drinker.
What were you guys just? I mean, change you were just
We were
talking about something.
We're talking about IP, Web3 being able to utilize whether it's a company's logo or how you can marketing and all that stuff here in Web3.
Yeah, so to support even further, because I'm a huge advocate of the legal side. So that way, of course, as a company, nobody can take my stuff as an artist like everybody else. But also with the blockchain, aren't we not auto protected? So even though there's still a centralized version and a decentralized version, but even though it's becoming more centralized, doesn't that still give us, even on the decentralized end, some type of, and I'm going to use this term that I've used lately, comparable, to say that, we don't have to go through the permissions because the permissions are already there because it's in the blockchain. Isn't that true?
I mean, yeah.
Yes and no. It depends on the regulatory body in which you live in, right? It's just like you may have something that's okay federally, but then your state that you live in says no, right? So think of like Binance US. Well, US citizens can use Binance US, but if you live in Texas, you cannot. So if you had an account before you came into Texas, yes, of course you can, but you can't KYC if you live in Texas. So just little things like that kind of thwart the process. It could also depend on what asset that organization has available to it, right? If you get J Change crypto for his company, well, you now own an asset of his company, but you don't own a share of his company. And so there's still that legal difference, right? Are you a project that was put out for free, or you're a project that people paid to be a part of? What utilities are behind a specific NFT, right? Is it just used inside of a platform, or is it something that people are purchasing and they keep and they own the complete rights to do whatever they want with it? So we're still trying to figure that piece out, Tim?
Right. And so theoretically, or at least this is what I'm pushing for, and I think it's bleeding some of the centralized part of it into it. So to try to not have a one side of the tracks or the other, all I'm really trying to do is push the idea that where does the copyright and trademark, like for example, I have my own trademark. So and I could use that to my advantage to support my copyright as a reinforcement, even though they're two different things. But legally, one set of facts that's documented supports another. It's still legal. So at what point now is like and I come back to Ethereum, so far with Ethereum, especially with now the Bitcoin wrapper, I mean, I feel like we're on the cusp of almost it being automatic, which is what I'm begging for, that the copyright and the trademarks, the patents, all go with the blockchain, whether centralized or decentralized. And on the centralized end, if they can come up with a comparable system, in my opinion, a standard as far as what the prices should be in the centralized world, then decentralized can still do whatever it wants, but we're protected by these rights that go with it. Plus, there's a way to have decentralized values constantly fluctuate way beyond centralized, and that controls the centralization from getting out of hand. And then the centralized schedule gives the decentralized platform the chance to have a threshold so nobody can take advantage of anybody. This is my thought process.
I think with Bitcoin, yeah, it's a done deal. Because Tim, you're like me, right? We got trademarks and things like that, and a lot of people don't know. Like once you have one, you have to actively protect it, right? If you just willy nilly let people use your logo or name or whatever it is, and you aren't putting out cease and desist, and then finally something happens where you need to use it, you lose that case because the government is going to say, well, there's proof that you have not exercised protecting that copyright or that trademark. So why should we let you do it now?
And that's why I want ETH in the blockchain with the partnership, so that way the government can't come down on me, and at the same time I'm carrying blockchain proof. I don't care what you throw at it. I've got a foolproof documented form that's legal, centralized, decentralized, both. How can the court of law argue that?
Any thoughts, Ethan?
Well, I mean, I'm just wondering if if you front run somebody like people do with websites, right? Like if you front run somebody and file for a trademark, like a Web3 trademark that we're seeing, all these filings all over the board, like what happens? Like, okay, let's just use it for swoosh for whatever. Let's use Nike. So someone front ran all of that and they trademarked for a Web3 purpose, just do it and swoosh. What is Nike? They don't have like a leg to stand on, right? Because it's like there was when I was at NFT LA, I was talking with this lawyer guy, and this was last year, talking with some lawyer guy about he's working on contracts with athletes and musicians, people that get themselves into these traditionally predatory contracts. And what he's saying, what they can now do is draw this definitive line in the sand where now what I'm doing is I'm representing you, digital you. So you might have your Web2 contracts that they're going to suck the blood out of you. You're never going to make a dime. But now you're saying, I got this little Web3 world. I can do NFTs, metaverse, all this stuff. You can't touch any of it. I thought that was like a really good option for people that have gotten themselves screwed over with a contract that they thought was going to change their life that ultimately became very burdensome.
And James, real quick, that's the nail on the head right there, because the traditional model of the studios is you hold royalties and there's subdivisions. And with blockchain, even though there can be fractionalized investments, it's just, once again, if you're holding all the ownership, and as in my company, what I want to do is give all of you, the artists, the same thing I would want, which is I'm shooting myself in the foot. I want to give you 100% ownership. How do I do that without blockchain and not have all kinds of costs to pass on? And are we not in the same boat? Thanks for letting me jump in. I won't keep jumping in. Thank you.
No, man, please. That's guys. Anyone that's Tim, you are more than welcome to. Anybody that's listening, this is a absolute community show. This is by the community for the community. I am a community member just like you. If there is anything that you want to do to contribute to the conversation, all you got to do is just request to speak, and we'll bring you up here. It's a great time for us to go over the rules of the show. We don't have rules of the show. There's just one simple thing that we ask, and it's just don't be a douchebag. So by the way, speaking of, I don't know if he's in the room, but you guys remember it was either earlier this week, we had our buddy Long Dong Silver, who was just fudding everybody with the emojis. We hit a little DM conversation. We kind of touched base on some other threads. So I honestly think our buddy Long is not as mean as he thinks he is, so, or she thinks she is. I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, don't be a douchebag. We'll get you removed.
That's it.
Tim, there's so many, it's kind of like reading the fine print, right? When you sign up for a site and it's got like 1 million pages before you can hit the OK button, and 99.9% of people don't read it, right? It can even go as far as just having proof that you created something first, even if there is a trademark filing. So what happens, and this is for all our listeners, if you're trying to protect a name, a logo, or a brand, when you apply for the protection, you then have temporary protection until your application is approved or denied. If it's denied, I think 24 hours after, it's up for grabs, right? If it gets approved, you do have to show proof that you've been exercising the use of what you applied for. So under the application process, you use what's called the TM. So if you ever seen a logo or a name and it has TM next to it, that means that they're in the application process. They're protected until they're approved or denied. Once you have the R with the circle, like in our logo and in our name, it means that you have been officially recognized by either your local government, your state government, or your federal government as an official registered trademark. Now, there are differences, right? If someone has a Final Frontier pizza joint, I cannot go after them for a cease and desist because they're not in a competitive category. So you can still have the same logo and name registered. You just can't be in the same competitive categories. Think of it as like if you get a sponsorship for an energy drink and then another company comes along with an energy drink and they want to sponsor you, you'll probably have a non-compete clause in that first contract so that you can't pick up the second one. That's why you'll see um, public figures, they'll try to cover all different things, right? They have a shoe brand, they have a clothing brand, they have a drink brand, but they won't have multiples of the same because there's always a non-compete clause.
It reminds me, I got to get my brands figured out. We got
Yeah, and it's a 6-month period too. Once you get registered, that only buys you 6 months. You still have to be uncontested, but usually it's pretty difficult. If you can get approved and you have that 6-month waiting period until you finally get approved, then obviously the contest has to be pretty extreme, and they have to be very, very, they have to really, really roast you.
will regulators will they hear, like, I'd say the case, but will they hear the case like in the same fashion as they would like in a Web 2 world? Do all the same rules apply?
Great question.
So it depends on which court you're trying to go through for it. Most of the times, the institutions and corporations will crush anybody that tries to either come in their direction, right? For one, they can put you in court long enough till you no longer have the resources to fight the case, and therefore you just lose by default, right? And so as much as we may hate some institutions and corporations, you still have to kind of like find that happy medium with them, because remember, a lot of them have infinite resources and funds to crush you in a day if they want to. And that's why we protected everything. And we tell all our communities we're connected to protect their stuff, because a lot of the big wigs, if they see you as competition, they will either try to buy you out or they will try to take you out. And if it's going to come to that, you would rather be bought out, because if they want to take you out, you will not have the resources or the funds to withstand that fight.
A fact and that's just straight facts.
Thank you.
That's where we saw that at was with Southwest Airlines. They kept them in court for so long. The only thing that saved them was that the founder over there was actually a lawyer, and he agreed to fight the cases on his own dime.
Really?
Yeah. Well, look at Twitter, right? I'm not going to say the name, but if you look at his letter, that's basically what he told them. And I'm sure Jay Chains has seen a letter. It was pretty much, I want to buy you out, and if you don't let me buy you out, I'm going to take you out. Look at Marvel being consumed. Look at some of the gaming companies that were consumed. Look at phone brands that were consumed. And that's what it ultimately comes down to is, do you want to win the battle and be okay, or do you want to try to go to war but you don't have the resources for it, right? You don't take some brass knuckles to the gunfight.
Do you think, Ardo, like when it comes to, gaming, and because we all know that, gaming will be bringing the critical mass, right? Do we think that, in line with what you just said, do you think it's going to be a traditional game studio that snatches up all of the Web3 game developers that are worth a damn? Or do you think someone rises, from this ecosystem to grab all that attention, and then they go on the acquiring spree of buying up all of the, putting them out of business, all the other smaller studios?
So I don't think that's the way it's going to happen, right? Because it's kind of it's competition, but you're dealing with the same community, right? You're not dealing for a whole new brand of people. So what's going to happen is one of the major studios is going to step in, but because there's this little thing called NDAs, they already have something in the works, just nobody knows about it. And so they're going to come in And they're going to have a head start because, again, they have the resources to hire anyone on the planet at an instant.
Yeah.
And multiples.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut over you, but that, cue the, I don't have it pulled up, but cue that article about Sony with what they did, filing for, all the stuff for integrating NFTs into their platforms. They did that a year before they even announced it. And I think it was towards the tail, was it the tail end of last year or was it earlier this year when all that came, they announced that, Sony in conjunction with PlayStation, what they're trying to incorporate with the NFTs, that trademark filing was filed a year before they announced it. But it was like that same thing, just quietly working in the background, just building this up. And then by the time you know it, that's the whole sell the rumor by the news thing, is by the time they announce it, they are probably balls deep in development.
Yeah, well, and it's the thing, and Tim knows about this too, especially with his experience. They have the type of connections and funds to have something hidden from public record until they're ready for it to release.
Yep.
Whereas the average person that's applying for something, it goes public the instant you get that application accepted.
100%.
And that's not the case with institutions and corporations. You may not see stuff till way down the line. And it's the same with when you look at transparency of stocks, right? And shareholder statements, right? When Tesla sold their Bitcoin, it wasn't, and everyone thought it happened when the news hit, and it wasn't. And so here's the market crashing because people are panicking. And I'm like, they sold that a long time ago. It's just they have until the end of the quarter to announce it. So here you think they're just now doing it, but they had already did it. And the purpose behind it was to show the value of Bitcoin against the traditional asset, especially in a down traditional market, because they were able to hedge all of what they had made in a whole year selling Teslas just from selling a portion of their Bitcoin. But let's look at Blizzard, right? Blizzard acquired Activision, so now Call of Duty is a part of Blizzard. Now Microsoft steps up and they say, wow, well, we're headed towards Web3 and now we want you. So Microsoft applies to take on Blizzard, who took on Activision, right? You see where that buy you out, take you out thing comes from? Mm-hmm. And so if Microsoft comes over with their product, Blizzard Activision, they have enough funds, resources, and people to literally overnight produce a Web3 game, or just incorporate blockchain into a game logic that is already legendary, right? They don't have to create a game logic from scratch like a lot of the Web3 games are doing. They already have one. They just have to get developers smart enough to incorporate the game logic into the blockchain. And that's the good thing about Unreal Engine 5 is you can do that. Star Atlas is building that game actively on the blockchain. They're not developing it and then incorporating blockchain. So, but even as big as Star Atlas is, they only have like 240 employees. You know how many employees Blizzard has?
Thousands.
Like thousands. So imagine the output. And then they get acquired by a corporation who literally could lose $1 billion and not bat an eye.
Could you imagine? What kind of world would you be living in like that? Really quick, while you were talking about that, I was trying to look up some information about the whole Blizzard Activision case, and a new article came out today. Actually, Sony now has to reveal that PlayStation exclusivity deals for the Microsoft Activision case, and this came from the FTC. So the apparently Sony suffered their first defeat in this case, and they've got to now show all of their deals that they've got. Open up the books. The Sony said this is obviously harassment. The FTC and the judges clearly disagree, but they've now got they're demanded a laundry list of documents they felt were relevant to the case, including personnel files of PlayStation executives and third-party exclusivity deals. Dang. Yes, Tim.
Jeez.
Yes, Tim.
Yes. You know what I think is going to happen with the studios? I think there's only one way it can actually go because of cost and the size of the bubble. I think of Web3 as a bubble, and I think that because it's so big, and in order to have true authenticity and not have a bot-run company, only bot-assisted, so I'll love the bots, but people want real artistry and authenticity. So I believe to have enough of it at real time and to keep the bottom of the market saturated, I feel the only way for studios to go is not to be able to buy up everything and completely monopolize it, but just keep the top end cornerstones, and everybody else at the bottom is constantly bringing the real-time input because it's just more cost effective than having models, think tanks, and projects that are funded for marketing purposes. And I think that's what's going to break the mold, because how would AI not be needed for those models? And then I think that's where it opens up the one-to-one world, and then let the best rise to the top. And then there is the source for the big producers to just constantly have a new influx without limitation. That's where I think it's going to go.
Interesting. Now you said AI, and it got me thinking. We're going to jump to another topic here now, but sort of, it's all along the same kind of lines. Let's talk about Meta with AI and what they're doing. There was something that was in the news yesterday where now they're going to, I don't know, I hope it's not a true pivot. I hope he's going to continue, trying to figure out what's going on with the metaverse. But it sounds like the pivot to AI powered tools for WhatsApp, Messenger, and Instagram are a new focus for these guys. They're trying to. I think they're building like a. What was there was like some kind of term about the team for it. Who knows? Whatever. But what do you guys think about that? Is this where we're all heading? Like, AI seems to be the buzzword. It's all about the AI cryptos. It's about chat GPT. It's, AI this, AI that. Is this, is AI just where we're going for literally everything?
Most certainly. Without a doubt. We are definitely moving into the world of the bots. This is a great tool across the board. And, I really feel like, whoever creates with the bot in that moment, that it belongs to you, because the bot's never going to recreate that moment, that exact scenario, the way that you produced it, the way that you made it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you, like I did construction, right? If you watch like, Bob Vila and like This Old House and stuff, and you're like, damn, like they make the most incredible things. They have insanely expensive tools that like give them precision cuts and like perfect guides and guards. And when you have those tools, yeah, you can create some really incredible, amazing things. But for the average person that, has to use a Ryobi and, what I'm saying, maybe like a portable table saw or something, like you're not going to get the same results. And so, I'm a huge advocate for AI. I absolutely love it. I use bots all day long. I think they take, they take my thought process and my ability to be able to produce work to a whole nother level. And I really feel like it levels the playing field across the board.
I love it, man. I would agree with you. Go ahead. Art.
It's you're the weapon, and the AI is the tool, right? And I think a lot of people who are coming across AI try to use the AI as the weapon, and the person has become the tool, so they don't get the results they want. I know we were talking about like the NFT I have been working on. Well, there is a lot of intricacies in there that the AI can help me with solving, because the problem I'm solving is actually something that Bitcoin has a vulnerability to. And so I'm working on quantum mechanics and something called post-quantum cryptography. Bitcoin is vulnerable to that because it's not protected from it. And so enough quantum computer power could expose that vulnerability in Bitcoin. Obviously, no one owns those computers. I mean, you'd need hundreds of thousands of dollars to have one. But the NFT would be protected from an attack against quantum level mechanics.
Thank you.
Absolutely. That's man, Ardo. You know so much shit. It's crazy.
Dog, he's a freaking don. Like, I don't even want to like talk, you know what I mean? Because I'm just like literally like I'm working in the back end, but I'm hearing every word, and it's just like it's gold, man. I really appreciate you guys, man. This show's always just epic knowledge, man. Good vibes. Retweet the freaking room.
Let's
You know what I mean?
go.
Tell people about Web3 breakfast, man. This is the jam.
Yeah, well, if you've ever heard, and obviously you guys have, but for people in the audience who are new to it, Bitcoin uses an algorithm called the SHA-256. And so what this means is that it takes 1 to the 256 power for one of your computers to hack into Bitcoin's algorithmic change. And so what the miners are doing is the miners are helping protect the network by continuously moving the transactions through it at a speed way faster than the speed of light. So it would take your average computer 1 to the 256 years to solve the break into a private wallet. A quantum computer could do it in a couple weeks. So, so being able to protect a blockchain from post-quantum cryptography attacks is something that it can't be added to it now, but it can be developed to protect around it. Think of it as like EMP. Your phones are not naturally protected by EMP. They're vulnerable to it. However, you can get an EMP shield to then add to that phone and protect it in the event of the attack. So that's where we have to focus on protecting Bitcoin in the future and any other blockchains that come. And so this NFT is not just for tax purposes, it's also a revolution of how to protect an NFT from an attack inside the wallet.
Isn't this why Bitcoin's using Ethereum as a wrapper? And doesn't Ethereum have most of this solved? I'm still trying to learn more as well.
This is one purpose, but the other purpose behind it is it was the beginning of its technology, right? Think of it as when cars first came out, no one was thinking about having a Bluetooth system, right? Or having anti-lock brake system. So just think of Bitcoin as the first car, but the wheel is not broken. So we don't have to reinvent it. We just have to improve it.
So it just wasn't as robust, and it's just a question of really, does a smart contract get extended with enough code to kind of match what Ethereum already kind of did first in a sense?
Yeah. Well, look at like Kadena, right? Everyone has gotten so caught up in, okay, well, I want to create a blockchain, I want to create a token, and I want to use this language that already exists, whether it's Solidity or Rust or whatever it may be. Well, they sat back and they just watched for years. And they said, okay, we see the strengths and weaknesses, and we're going to pull a Bruce Lee, and we're going to remove the weaknesses, and we're going to use the strengths, and we're going to create our own language called Pact. Well, with Pact, now Kadena, a block can create its own blocks before moving on to the next segment.
Like a smart block, I guess?
Yes. So with Bitcoin, right, it's producing a block every 10 minutes. And at that 10 minutes, that's when the Bitcoin is rewarded to the miners. But with Kadena, the block has already multiplied by like 10 before Bitcoin can produce one block.
So is that base 10 infused in the math, or am I reaching too far?
It's infused in the math, and it's why the Kadena miners can handle a lot more power than what we've ever seen, right? So if you've ever looked at the KA3 miner, That mining power is like the power of 100 gaming computers. Um, it can mine 160 terahashes per second. That is
Okay.
a lot of mining power.
I'm just starting to get it, and you're making more sense than almost anyone in these areas for me. Thank you.
Let's go. That's the Web3 community right there, man. Somebody's got a question. We can, as a community, get together and bring that information to people and in a hopefully a digestible way. Tim, if that was the best way that it's ever been explained to you, I love that.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Hardo, you the man, dude. You get like I think if we're gonna start giving out awards to the dopest Web3 breakfast contributors, I gotta say, you know, right now my front runners are definitely my co-host with the most. That is Turbo Made It. That's my dude right there. I can't wait to be down in ATX, man. Hanging out, getting things done, working like madmen. But then also Ardo, Final Frontier, just up the street from us in Tejas, baby. Guys, we are going to be a force to reckon with. And so appreciate you. Appreciate everyone. Tim, I think this is the first time that you've been up on stage in the show, and I appreciate you being here, asking questions, being a part of this conversation. That's what Web3 Breakfast is all about.
Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely got to get some golden waffle awards together, Jay. I'm gonna put that on the list right now. The golden waffles. We'll definitely add that in. You know what I'm saying? We can definitely make that happen.
Can we, yeah, let's just do that as a free NFT, and that's like the Poe app. Like you come to Web3 Breakfast and hang out, we're gonna slide you a golden waffle.
Look, I got it. I got the solution for it. I have it. I've been thinking of it like my Jimmy Neutron's going. Just like they had the Gamers' Choice Awards, but for Web3, we could have the Win Media Awards in Austin. How about that?
Let's do it.
Yes, yes, yes.
Golly, this is gonna be cool. We're gonna do so much fun stuff. I can't wait. And so this is this is that call to action. Like if you come here and you hang out and you have a good time and you hear some shit and you learn some things, tell a friend. This is how we make this ecosystem bigger. This is how we make it better. Is we got to get more people in here that want to be here. They want to help grow. They want to help learn. They want to help facilitate opportunities and networking. Like my buddy Ardo says, your networking and your relationships right now are more important than currency, more important than money. And that it is so resounding and it is so resonating, especially right now in this build market, because that's what we need to be doing. Like, like Trevor, we had a call. It was a couple weeks ago with some of the younger guys in the space, and for them, it's all about handout, handout, handout. And like, this is not the time to be putting your hand out. This is the time to be putting your head down and working, because then you're not going to have to put your hand out. It's all just the opportunity is going to come to you.
Look, I'm gonna hit you guys, you and Turbo, and I was thinking about this last night. Something I wanted to say to you guys, you too, and it's for everyone else in the audience too. Everyone says we're early, but I want you to envision you're in a car. Don't get out of the car when you pull over to look back down the road. Sit in the car and use the rearview mirror and take a glimpse of where you came from, but keep driving forward so that you can continue where you've been trying to go.
I love the analogy of that is so important. Somebody said that to me, man. This is probably just a couple months ago, and it was like one of those things where I felt it in my chest. The rear window on a car is smaller than the windshield for a reason. Like you said, just get a glimpse, but then keep your eyes going forward, because there is a bigger opportunity ahead than what you had in the past.
Unknown caller.
And that's an unknown caller.
Yo, and I definitely got to throw my car analogy in here too, because life is truly the highway. And it's like when you're on that highway and you're driving down, even if there's nobody around you, there's still somebody in front of you that you're chasing, and there's still somebody behind you that's trying to catch you. And sometimes in life, that car pulls up beside you and you make eye contact with them, you give them a little head nod, just the acknowledgement that I see you, and we're all trying to get to somewhere great together. Yeah.
Okay, good. I just need to get through this ad. All right. All right. Well, I honestly thought we were going to hear some words well before all that, so that was a bust.
Life is a highway. I won't ride it
Oh,
all
not
night long.
long. There we go.
There it is.
All right. As soon as you
There
said
it
that, I was
is.
like, we got to cue that song up. And then, dude, this is like it was like a music video for the cars. So it's got this stupid long beginning, all the, you heard the engines. And then I fast forwarded through, like, it was probably a minute and a half. Like, who's got a minute and a half to sit there and watch cars, engines rumble? Just get to the song. Come on.
Well, look, there's different strokes for different folks, Jay. You know what I'm saying? There's some people out there, they hear them cars revving up and they're like, oh yeah, baby, this is my moment.
This is true.
There you have it. Look, I love subliminal messages too through marketing, but also when there's subliminal messages through TV shows or movies. You ever have a favorite series, but then you watch it again, and then you see that like there was a connection, like a message being told that you just completely missed the first time. And that's the way the mind works, right? It's called focal points. It's the same with magic. Are they really performing magic, or did they just get your mind to focus on what they wanted you to see? And so the end result looks like they just did something absolutely outstanding. So, and that's where we have to be here, right? Jay Chains did talk about marketing earlier. And so when you're marketing, what do you want the audience to see? What do you want them to focus on? Because the white paper is not the focus point. Everyone says, oh, do you have white paper? Well, the white paper could be 100 pages long. Give them a focal point that gives them interest in who you are and what you do. Take the time to build relationships with other organizations symbiotically, and don't put the dollar in the front of it, right? Don't offer someone help, but for a price. I get DM'd all the time. Hey, we'll promote you if you give us, 1 Ethereum. And I'm like, get out my DMs, because I'm willing to help someone else who's willing to help me. And in return, we lift each other up.
That is the game. Although I will not shy from an ETH. I'm just
I
kidding.
ain't never shied from no ETH, not never once. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just throw some of that my way. I wish I would have got some at 40 cents. Tell Vitalik to just, sling a couple thousand of it. It won't hurt him.
Just come on, just spread the wealth a little bit. I remember, so back in the day, when I say back in the day, this was probably, what are we in 2023? I was living in Texas the last time. I've been here since 20. So like, man, this is probably 2020, right? Like when Ethereum was like $300. Me and my buddy, we both belonged to Lifetime Fitness in Austin, and we would be playing basketball. We would play games of 21 for a tenth of an ETH, which, it would be like $30, right? But honestly, we'd play 5 games a day, like 5 days a week. Like we would play horse, we would do like, who could swim a lap faster for tenths of an ETH. Like, you don't want to do that anymore. But man, I tell you what, when ETH was cheap, those were the days.
I need that. I need that. Yeah, so we spread some knowledge today too, and I learned something from J Chains and Turbo today. But yeah, I hope that that people who are listening in who are new to Web3, a lot of new people came in after the Meta party, had never heard of Web3, had never had an NFT, and that was awesome. And then we talked to today about protecting what you've created, how to use decentralization to create a brand out of the IP you own, but also cryptography and mining. So many people don't know what a miner is. Its sole purpose for a proof of work blockchain is to help secure it by sending the transactions through multiple nodes. And in exchange for being a miner, you're rewarded that blockchain's cryptocurrency in return. So in the beginning, there was no exchange to purchase Bitcoin. You had to either mine it or buy it from a miner.
Interesting. That was back in the day, man. That is so true. Golly, this is such a fun industry to be in. This is a great community to be in. I love you guys. I can honestly say that. You are my people. You are my fam. We spend 5 hours a week between the hours of 10 and 11 in the morning with each other. And I appreciate you. I appreciate every single one of you that came here, that hopped up on stage, that just listened. Maybe you exited out and then you came back. I saw a little bit of that. Maybe you rugged, or maybe you thought, what am I doing? I got to get back in there and listen. These guys are dropping some truth bombs. I'm learning shit. Make sure that you tell a friend that you are learning some things here at Web3 Breakfast. We have a great community. You are part of it. I am part of it. We are all part of it. Let's get our golden waffles. Again, thank you guys for tuned up. You participated in the discussion. I appreciate you. Your engagement support means so much to me and the rest of this Web3 community. We're making some things happen, guys. So I want to leave you with one final thought. The power of Web3 lies in its ability to empower individuals and communities, and we are all a part of that, right? So the possibilities are endless. I'm excited to see where this journey takes us. We will see you tomorrow morning for some more Web3 Breakfast. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Do something cool. Do something to make yourself 1% better than you were yesterday. If you do that every single day, that will have compounding effects, and you will be kicking ass in no time. Appreciate you guys. Love you. Have a great day.
Love you guys.